Hey man, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen to this. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you see yourself forever. Most guys walk around thinking they're average, maybe even below average when it comes to looks. But here's what's really happening. You've been conditioned to undervalue yourself. You've been programmed to think that unless you look like some Instagram model or movie star, you're just another face in the crowd. But that's complete garbage. And today, I'm going to prove it to you. See, there's a massive difference between being objectively good-looking and being attractive. Most men have no clue about this difference. They think attraction is all about having perfect features, a chiseled jawline, or being 6'5". But attraction runs so much deeper than that. And the signs that prove you're way more handsome than you think, they're happening right in front of you every single day. You're just not seeing them. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where you stand. And trust me, once you start recognizing these signs, you'll never look at yourself the same way again. So let's break down the 7 undeniable signs that prove you're way more handsome than you realize. Women do double takes when they see you. Now listen, this isn't about catching someone staring. This is way more subtle than that. You ever walking down the street minding your own business and you notice a woman glance at you, then immediately look away? But here's the key. She looks back. That second look, that's everything. Most guys, they get that first glance and they think nothing of it. Everyone looks at everyone, right? But when she steals that second look, when she can't help herself from checking you out again, that's her brain saying, damn, who was that? Women don't do double takes on guys they're not attracted to. Period. They might glance once out of habit, but that second look, that's pure instinct. And here's what's really happening in that moment. Her brain is processing your face, your energy, your presence. And something about you is triggering her attraction response. She's not even consciously deciding to look back. It's happening automatically because you've got something that caught her attention. Now, I'm not talking about obvious staring. That's different. That's someone being rude or inappropriate. I'm talking about that quick, almost embarrassed second glance. The one where she immediately looks away, like she got caught doing something she shouldn't be doing. If you've experienced this, my guy, you're way more attractive than you think. People remember your face even after brief interactions. This one's huge, and most men completely miss it. You ever meet someone once, maybe at a party or a work event, just a quick conversation, and then weeks later they see you and they remember you. Not just that you met, but they remember details about what you talked about. Here's the truth. People remember attractive faces. It's hardwired into our brains. We're naturally programmed to pay more attention to and retain information about people we find physically appealing. So when someone remembers you after just one brief meeting, that's their brain telling you something important. Think about it. How many people do you meet in a week? How many faces do you see? But only certain ones stick in your memory. The ones that made an impression. The ones that stood out. And if you're the guy people remember, that means you're the guy who stands out. Women especially. They meet tons of guys every day. But the ones they remember, the ones they can recall weeks later, those are the ones who triggered something in them. Maybe it was your smile, maybe it was your eyes, maybe it was just your overall presence. But something about your face made her brain say, this one's worth remembering. And here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes they'll even mention it. They'll say something like, I remember you from that party last month, or didn't we meet at that coffee shop? That kind of recall? That's not random. That's attraction working on a subconscious level. You get compliments on specific features. Look, most guys brush off compliments. They think people are just being nice. But when someone specifically mentions your eyes, your smile, your jawline, whatever it is, that's not politeness. That's genuine attraction. Women don't go around complimenting guys on their looks unless they actually mean it. Think about it. When was the last time you complimented a random guy on his appearance? Exactly. It doesn't happen. But when a woman tells you you have nice eyes or a great smile, she's being real with you. And here's the thing about specific compliments. They're way more meaningful than generic ones. Anyone can say, you look nice today, but when someone points out a particular feature, that means they've been looking. They've been studying your face long enough to notice what makes you attractive. Now pay attention to which features get mentioned the most, because that's your strongest asset. Maybe it's your eyes, maybe they're more striking than you realize. Maybe it's your smile, maybe it lights up your whole face in a way you don't see. Maybe it's something you never even thought about, but others can't help but notice. And don't just listen to what women say, listen to how they say it. There's a difference between a casual compliment and one that comes with that little smile, that lingering look, that slight change in their voice when they're genuinely attracted to what they're seeing. Strangers are unusually friendly to you. This one's subtle, but once you notice it, you'll see it everywhere. Attractive people get treated differently by everyone, not just potential romantic partners, but everyone. And if you're experiencing this treatment, you might be more handsome than you think. Ever notice how some people just seem to have it easier? With customer service, with getting help from strangers, with just general human interactions? If you're that guy, if people seem naturally inclined to help you, to be extra friendly, to smile more when they talk to you, that's the halo effect in action. The halo effect is a psychological phenomenon where we automatically assume attractive people have other positive qualities. We're nicer to them, more helpful, more patient. And this happens completely unconsciously. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. So if you find that cashiers are chattier with you, that people go out of their way to help you, that strangers strike up conversations more often than they seem to with others around you, that's a massive indicator you're more attractive than you realize. Think about your daily interactions. Do people seem genuinely happy to see you, even people you barely know? Do they remember your name? Do they light up when you walk in? Does the barista at your coffee shop always seem extra friendly? These aren't coincidences. These are reactions to your attractiveness. And here's the kicker. Most really attractive people don't even notice this is happening to them, because it's been their normal, their whole life. They think everyone gets treated this way, but they don't. Only the attractive ones do. You've been told you look like celebrities or models. Now, I'm not talking about your mum telling you you're handsome. I'm talking about strangers, acquaintances, people who have no reason to blow smoke up your ass. When someone says you remind them of an actor or a model, that's not them being nice. That's them seeing something genuinely attractive in your features. And it doesn't have to be an A-list celebrity. Sometimes it's, oh, you look like that guy from that show, or you remind me of someone famous, but I can't place who. The point is, they're comparing you to people who are literally paid to look good on camera. Here's what's really happening when someone makes that comparison. Their brain is recognizing attractive features in your face, features that remind them of people they know are conventionally good-looking. It's like their subconscious is doing facial recognition and finding matches with attractive people. Now, don't get hung up on whether you think the comparison is accurate or not. That's not the point. The point is that someone looked at your face and their first instinct was to compare you to someone famous, someone whose job it is to be attractive on screen. And if multiple people have made similar comparisons over the years, if you've gotten the celebrity comparison more than once from different people, that's even stronger evidence, because it means there's something consistently attractive about your features that multiple people are picking up on. Photos of you get more engagement on social media. Now, I know what you're thinking. Social media likes don't mean everything. And you're right, they don't. But they do mean something, especially when it comes to photos of your face. If your selfies, your photos where your face is prominently featured, consistently get more likes, more comments, more engagement than your other posts. That's the algorithm responding to human behavior. And human behavior responds to attractiveness. People are more likely to like, comment on, and share photos of people they find attractive. It's just how we're wired. So if your face shots are consistently outperforming your other content, that's a pretty clear indicator that people are responding positively to how you look. And pay attention to the types of comments you get. Are they about your smile, your eyes, your overall look? Are people using fire emojis, heart eyes emojis? These aren't just random reactions. These are people's genuine responses to seeing your face. Now, here's the thing about social media. It's actually a pretty good testing ground for attractiveness, because people are scrolling fast, they're making split-second decisions about what to engage with. And if they're consistently stopping at your photos, That means something about your face is catching their attention. And don't just look at the quantity of engagement. Look at who's engaging. Are people you don't know that well liking your photos? Are acquaintances commenting on your appearance? Because when someone who barely knows you takes the time to comment on how you look, that's them being genuinely impressed. You've been approached by strangers interested in dating you. This is the big one. If women have ever approached you, if they've ever made the first move, if they've ever been the ones to initiate contact or ask you out, that's about as clear a sign as you're going to get. Here's the reality. Most women don't approach men. Period. They're socialized not to. They're taught to wait to be approached. So when a woman breaks that social conditioning, when she puts herself out there and risks rejection by approaching you first, that means she saw something in you that was worth the risk. And I'm not just talking about bars or clubs. I'm talking about everyday situations. The grocery store, the gym, work, social events. When a woman creates an opportunity to talk to you, when she positions herself to be noticed by you, when she gives you obvious signals that she's interested, that's her responding to your attractiveness. Think about it from her perspective. She's got options. She's got guys trying to get her attention all the time. But when she sees you, when she decides that you're worth approaching, that means you stood out from everyone else. And not just because of your personality, because she hasn't talked to you yet. It's because of how you look. And sometimes it's not even a direct approach. Sometimes it's creating situations where you have to interact with her, asking for help with something, starting a conversation about something random. These are all forms of approach, and they all indicate that she finds you attractive enough to risk potential rejection. Now here's what I want you to understand about all of these signs. They're not about ego. They're not about thinking you're better than anyone else. They're about recognizing your worth and understanding that you're probably way more attractive than you give yourself credit for. See, most men suffer from what I call attractiveness blindness. They've been conditioned to focus on their flaws, to see everything that's wrong with how they look instead of recognizing what's right. And this blindness, it's costing them opportunities. It's costing them confidence. It's costing them success with women. Because here's the thing, confidence is attractive. And when you recognize that you're already more handsome than you think, when you start seeing these signs for what they really are, your confidence naturally increases. And that confidence, it makes you even more attractive. It's a positive feedback loop, but you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start seeing yourself clearly. And these signs, they're your roadmap. They're the evidence that's been right in front of you all along. You just haven't been paying attention. Now, I want to address something important. Just because you're recognizing these signs doesn't mean you should stop taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean you should get lazy with your appearance. Being naturally handsome is a great foundation, but you still need to build on it. Good grooming, staying in shape, dressing well, these things amplify whatever natural attractiveness you have. They don't create it from nothing, but they can take what you already have and make it even better. And here's something else to consider. These signs aren't just about physical attractiveness. They're often about the total package. Your presence, your energy, your confidence. All of these things contribute to how attractive people perceive you to be. So when someone does a double take, when they remember your face, when they compliment your features, they're not just responding to your bone structure. They're responding to you as a complete person. And that's even more powerful than just being conventionally good-looking. Now, what do you do with this information? How do you use this knowledge? First, you start paying attention. You start noticing these signs when they happen instead of dismissing them or writing them off as coincidence. You acknowledge them for what they are, evidence of your attractiveness. Second, you start carrying yourself differently. When you know you're attractive, when you really believe it, your whole demeanor changes. You walk taller, you make more eye contact, you smile more genuinely. And all of these things, they make you even more attractive. Now, third, you start putting yourself out there more. If you know you're good looking, if you have evidence that people are attracted to you, then you should be more confident about approaching women, about putting yourself in social situations, about taking risks romantically. Because here's what happens when you combine natural attractiveness with confidence, with the knowledge of your own worth. You become unstoppable. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop assuming rejection. You start expecting positive responses because you know you deserve them. And listen, this isn't about arrogance. This isn't about thinking you're God's gift to women. This is about accurate self-assessment. This is about seeing yourself clearly instead of through the lens of insecurity and self-doubt. Most men, they go through their entire lives never recognizing their own attractiveness. They date below their league. They settle for less than they deserve. They don't pursue the women they really want because they don't think they have a chance. But if you're experiencing these signs, if women are doing double takes, if people remember your face, if you're getting specific compliments, if strangers are unusually friendly, if you're being compared to celebrities, if your photos get engagement, if women approach you, then you, my friend, are not most men. You're more attractive than you think. You're more desirable than you realize. And it's time you started acting like it. Because when you do, when you really embrace your attractiveness and carry yourself accordingly, everything changes. Women start responding to you differently. Opportunities start opening up. Your whole life starts shifting because you're finally operating from a place of confidence instead of insecurity, from abundance instead of scarcity. And here's the beautiful thing about recognizing your own attractiveness. It's not dependent on anyone else's opinion. You don't need validation from others. You don't need constant compliments. You know your worth, and that knowledge radiates from you. So start paying attention to these signs. Start acknowledging them when they happen. And most importantly, start believing them, because they're not lying to you. They're not making it up. They're responding to something real, something attractive, something powerful about you. And once you see it, once you really see yourself clearly, you'll wonder how you ever missed it in the first place. Because the signs, they've been there all along. You just weren't looking. Look, man, attractiveness isn't just about genetics. It's not just about having perfect features. It's about presence. It's about confidence. It's about how you carry yourself. And when you combine natural good looks with genuine self-awareness, with real confidence, you become magnetic. So stop underselling yourself. Stop assuming you're average. Stop thinking that attractive women are out of your league. Because if you're experiencing these signs, if people are responding to you the way I've described, then you're already in the game. You just didn't know it. Start seeing yourself the way others see you. Start recognizing your own attractiveness. And watch how your entire world transforms. Because when you know you're handsome, when you really know it, everything else falls into place. And that, my friend, is when you stop being just another guy in the crowd and start being the guy everyone notices, the guy women remember, the guy who commands attention just by walking into a room, because you finally understand what you've had all along. Pay attention to the signs, recognize your worth, and never let anyone, including yourself, convince you that you're anything less than the attractive man you really are.